Hey students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is commercial agriculture around the world. And here are your objectives. Please pause the video, look these questions over, and get ready to copy some vocab terms and take some notes. All right, let's start by looking at the British Agricultural Revolution, which is also called the Second Agricultural Revolution. And that was a huge increase in food production in England that started around the year 1700. That is right before the Industrial Revolution started, and it's no coincidence because the British Agricultural Revolution was indeed one of the major causes of the Industrial Revolution. And that's because the surplus of food that was created during the British Agricultural Revolution meant that fewer people needed to work as farmers in order to produce enough food for everyone. So later, when the farmers started to give up farming and move to cities to work in factories, there was still plenty of food to feed all the new factory workers, even though they weren't farming anymore. The British Agricultural Revolution also led to the beginning of commercial agriculture, or growing crops for sale, because there was now enough food to produce extra to sell. Commercial agriculture is the opposite of subsistence agriculture, because it means that farmers are growing much more food than they need for just themselves and their family. In general, commercial agriculture tends to be intensive. That means that it requires a lot of labor and/or capital. Labor means workers, and capital means money for machines like tractors and fertilizers, which allow farmers to reuse the same land over and over again without getting it exhausted. As a rule, commercial farms produce a lot more food, but they require a lot more money to be invested, and sometimes they require more human labor to harvest all the crops, although usually machines do the work. Now let's look at some types of commercial agriculture around the world. The first type is called horticulture, and it's also known as truck farming. Horticulture is a form of commercial agriculture based on the cultivation of fruits and vegetables. Horticulture is practiced in any moderate to warm climate where fruits and vegetables can grow. Mediterranean agriculture, sometimes called the Mediterranean diet, is a form of commercial agriculture that is based on the production of a specific mix of crops and livestock, which includes grains, fruits, vegetables, and some animals. This unique mixture of crops is only found in moderate coastal climates. And the key word here is coastal. You might want to underline or circle that word on your sheet. Mediterranean agriculture is only practiced in areas that are bordering the ocean. Okay, besides its location, here are some other common characteristics of Mediterranean agriculture. First, some of the most common crops in Mediterranean agriculture are olives, grapes, and nuts. Olives are usually used for olive oil. Grapes are used for wine. And nuts are used as a form of protein. This might remind you of Italian food, and that's because Italy is one of the places where Mediterranean agriculture is used. Next, Mediterranean agriculture requires climates that have hot summers with moderate rainfall. So the summers are hot, but moderate means that they're not too dry nor too wet, kind of medium amount of rain. And lastly, some of the specific places where Mediterranean agriculture is practiced include any of the countries that border the Mediterranean. I call that the Mediterranean Basin. Parts of coastal California in the United States, and coastal regions of Chile, South Africa, and Australia. Here is a map, and in red you see the areas where Mediterranean agriculture is practiced. As you can see, it is found in all the countries around the Mediterranean: Italy, Spain, Greece, Lebanon, Turkey, Libya, Morocco, etc. All these countries have Mediterranean agriculture. That's the Mediterranean basin. And then we have a few other spots around the world, and notice that they are all along the coast. The next type of commercial agriculture is called plantation agriculture. Plantation agriculture is based on the production of specialty items called cash crops. It is extremely intensive, requiring a lot of workers and a large capital investment. And it is always practiced in tropical climates. You will learn more about plantation agriculture later in the unit. Dairying is commercial agriculture based on the production of milk. Milk animals like cows, sheep, and goats thrive in cooler and wetter climates. So dairying is often widespread in areas that are too cold or too wet for growing a lot of fruits and vegetables. And the last type of commercial agriculture is ranching, which is based on grazing livestock. Usually this means grazing cows for beef production, letting them fatten up on grass until they are ready to be killed for meat. Like pastoral nomadism, which you learned about yesterday, ranching requires a lot of land, and it's usually found in dry areas where grass can grow but other food crops cannot. As you can see in this picture of a ranch in Montana, the cows spread out over a large or extensive area of land in order to graze on the grass. Now it's time to review the objectives. If you don't know the answer to any of them, just rewind the video and look again, and I will see you in class. Bye, students.